Hi everyone, as promised, we are here with the recap of the Malaga P1. Tomi is in Croatia, I'm in my new balcony, and it's getting dawn. It's getting quite nice. But to be fair, we definitely wanted to come on, and here we are. It's not live, but we said on, like we were just chatting, and we just said that, okay, we have to do this. Like that was, again, we know the final, we know who won it, but it was a great tournament. It was a homecoming, obviously, for Paquito, and yeah, Tommy is here with me as now always. So welcome, Tommy. How's the weather in Umag, where you are in Croatia?
Hello guys, yes, I'm in Umag in Croatia, and weather is absolutely great. And yeah, we needed to come because as we promised, we are doing after every single Premier Padel tournament, we're doing an episode. So yeah, it was now a little bit critical, but we made it here. Coello-Tapia is again winning the tournament. I think now the third time consecutive win, and 36 tournaments, and they are now the second best pair which has won the most titles in padel history. Yeah, I think after the Rome episode we were talking about if they can manage to have as much as Bella and Diaz. They have like, I don't know, 140, 50. It's gonna be crazy. They need to win like almost every other tournament for like 10 years. So we will see. But for now, they are absolutely dominating. And what I wanted to say that now in Malaga, it was pretty slow court indoor. So I think that was now advantage for Coello and Tapia. Obviously, they lost to Stupa Lebron when it was outdoor. It was a little bit easier. And actually, I saw a podcast from TSH Padel. They were talking with the Swedish, I think the Swedish captain, the national captain, and they were talking about like how Swedish or like these kind of nations can compete against Spain or Argentina, and he said that they have more chances outdoor when it's faster conditions, so they can bring the bigger smashes. When it's a slower court, the technique and the experience comes out more.
That's a really interesting point, actually, and I think I never really thought about it this way, but I think it makes a lot of sense because if you look at Adam Axelsson, or we can talk
Yeah.
about the Diaz brothers, they actually had a really decent tournament again. So they were we had a short video on our Instagram about when they beat Momo and John Sanz, and
I mean, they beat 3-0, yeah, but
that
yeah.
was obviously Johnson's had to retire, but yeah. So it's with the technique, the touch, you're never gonna beat the Argentinians and the Spanish. But that's where you need like your massive smashes, and that's where it can come into play. So no, it's a really fair point, and I think this was. I mean, we both watched the final. We'll talk about the final, but it was. I've never seen Tapia play this well for a long time, I have to say. Like, they're winning tournaments, but we were talking a lot about Tapia and how he is sort of second fiddle to Coelho, and we had a lot of comments about it that, like, yeah,
Yeah.
but Tapia is Mozart and he's like the goat and that sort of thing. But I wanted to reflect on what you said about that they won their 36th tournament, and they are now overtook Bella and Pablo
Lima.
Lima.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it is a massive achievement, and it's even crazier to think about it that everyone is talking about LeBron Galan, and look at these two new kids, and they just overtook them. So it is like since you and me started to follow paddle, LeBron Galan was like the real deal. They were like the proper
Yep.
game changers, and all of a sudden you just have to talk about Coello Tapia all the time. But but
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm just gonna yeah, you're gonna obviously draw the different topics, and you're gonna introduce what we're going to talk about. But yeah, it was a really interesting tournament. It is kind of funny for me that Malaga. Why is Malaga indoors when it's the Costa del Sol? It's always sunny. So you would, but maybe there's a lot of wind. I don't know why they're putting it indoors, but it's an interesting decision.
Yeah, I mean, in the stadium that they were playing on, I'm gonna just go to my notes because I wrote up that it was almost like more than 10,000 spectators in one match. It was the Palacio de Deportes Jose Maria Martin Carpena. It's an indoor
Didn't
arena
know you speak
in
Spanish.
Malaga. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? One day maybe. But yeah, it's a big place. Almost 10,000 people attended. I don't know if that's the maximum capacity in the stadium, but it's a lot of people. I think like it's one of the biggest place to have a tournament because I think like Palau San Jordi has 15,000 where the Masters final. So this is almost like that. So obviously, yeah, it's. I think it's a little bit like an easier choice to pick an indoor stadium where you have like a place like this. So yeah, we're just gonna go through at the men's main draw. Basically, there was couple interesting first round matches. Like for example. There was Italian play. Like it's interesting that Italian players are coming inside. Like there was a first round match where there were 3 Italians in a match, and this is not an Italian tournament, so it wasn't wild card. It was one of them. Actually, one player. It's Flavio Abate. I played against him 2.5 years ago at the European Championship with Marcy, and we almost took one set. It was like 6-4. And now he's playing in Premier Padel, and they actually won their first round match, and they lost to Paquito Bergamini, 6-3, 6-1. They won more games against Paquito Bergamini than Tolito and Chosas because they lost 6-0, 6-2. But what I wanted to say is that I don't know what happened, but Garrido and Sanyo is playing together now, and Gonza and like. I literally I saw what is happening and I searched up why is this happening and I didn't saw anything. Even Pablo from El Cuatro Set is not posting anything about this. I don't know what's happening. Do you know something about this?
No, I mean, if Pablo doesn't know, I won't know. It
Probably he
was really
knows it,
interesting.
but he's just not posting it. I don't know. Like,
So what was really interesting for me is, I mean, I will go bit by bit. So let's go with the Italians. I think Italian paddle is in a really good place as well. So is tennis. So we all know about, Yannick Sinner and Musetti and Berrettini and, all the amazing players. Even Cobolli. Cobolli had a really great Wimbledon. So that was an interesting tournament as well for him. He lost to Djokovic in the quarters, and I think Italy is the second biggest nation who has paddle courts, so they're actually second after Spain. So it is really, really growing heavily in Italy, and they will be there in the top 50 pretty soon with players, and they have been doing really well on the World Cup as well. So they actually got in the semis. So so look, what I can say about that is that it's getting a lot more interesting lately. So with the Swedish, as we just mentioned, with the Portuguese, those. We've got a few Brazilian players who we always had. So that's nothing new. But now we have a few French, a few Italians. So it's great to see that it's getting a lot bigger worldwide than what it was, and it's I really like it. I think the sports needs to be a lot more international. It would be quite fun to see some American players, some Chinese
yeah,
players, some Australian players. So I think once and obviously we haven't mentioned the South Africans who the Hungarian national team just played against in Johannesburg.
yeah.
It was Joburg.
No, Cape
Oh,
Town.
Cape Town. Was it Cape Town? Okay, so it was Cape Town, but
Yeah.
they played against them, and it was a great week where they were obviously competing with each other every day. It was quite an intense week for the Hungarian players. So was it for these?
There were actually six. There were actually six Italian players in this tournament, and that's the most after obviously Spain and Argentina. There was one Swedish guy, Axelsson, obviously, a few. Actually, I don't think a few. I think only Bergamini was possibly the Brazilian, and it's crazy that six Italian players was in the main draw. Like it's amazing to say this. 1 year ago, this wasn't a thing.
No, it definitely wasn't the case, and I think it's something to look out for because no one really thought that Sinner's going to dominate men's tennis. So like obviously we had a few thoughts about like how good Sinner can be, and sorry about that because I know that we are like that's what I wanted to say as well, that you were in Umag because you're going to be watching the ATP 250 in Umag. So we are still obviously tennis players in the depths of our hearts. So that's never going to go away. But now paddle is the main thing for both of us. So that's how it is. But
Actually, we are not. Actually, we're not really gonna watch the tennis because actually it's not a very good tournament now with good players, and we're like playing paddle every single day because now it's an interesting thing because now in our friend group, like 1 year ago, paddle wasn't that of a big thing. Like we were dragging them to paddle to say them okay, play paddle, but now they are saying that let's go and play paddle because everyone is playing paddle now. So it's also a fun thing.
No, 100%. And I just played a tournament today, so it was also good fun. So we are obviously trying to get in good shape for the Hungarian nationals, both you and me. I'm gonna take a few
Yeah.
lessons to be better on the right. So no, but all jokes aside, I think. Back to that original topic, and what I just wanted to reflect on is that Tolito and Choslas had a really good tournament, and Choslas
Yeah.
is a sleeper. I think he is. I mean, look, Paquito and Bergamini can do that too. Like when they're on fire, they can beat anyone. Love. They showed
Yeah.
it last week in Bordeaux, and now they showed it this week as well in Malaga, or 2 weeks ago, whatever when it was Bordeaux. So I think it's really interesting to see how. I mean, I don't know why the split, why that happened, why Garrido decided to, or Tolito decided not to play. But look, I really rate Chosas, and I think Chosas doesn't really get a lot of praise because I think Chosas is a really good player.
100%.
And I think he was most talked about when the three young Argentinians left their respective brands. Obviously, Chosas was with Volt, and Augsburger and Liebach were with Knox, and then they just chose Siux. So now all three of those guys are playing with Siux, and you don't really know why that has happened. I mean, obviously Pablo spoke about it, but that's when Chosas gained a lot of limelight. But in the meantime, I really rate the guy, and I was really happy to see that they were playing well with Tolito. And we haven't spoken about Tolito's amazing transformation. Like, he lost like 10, 15 kilos, and now he's looking, I wouldn't say ripped, so he's not like an Ali Galan, but he is definitely trying. What do you think? Why is that happening? I mean, I sort of have an idea on why that is happening, but yeah, it's great to see, actually.
He's simply competing on Premier Padel now, and he realized that if he wants to get into Barcelona Masters final, for example, or if he wants to be in the top 10, or he wants to have quarterfinals or semifinals consistently, he has to do something about it. And you were talking about this with, I think, Nacho Porto in the podcast, that Tolito has to do what he did now with his body type, because obviously now he showed that, I think, in 1 month he changed so much, and I love to see this because Tolito has a lot of potential for growing still, because if he can do this in 1 month, this transformation, then I think he can do whatever he wants to achieve, basically.
It's good to see that he is actually taking it more seriously. He's putting the hours in, he's putting the work in, and I think it's something which we definitely need from these pros. and you don't really see an unprofessional pedal player like Tolito was like the only one who you could point fingers at and you were like, yeah, okay, so this guy doesn't really give do flying whatevers, because he's like, he's happy in his own body, but he obviously wants to show
Yeah.
that, like, okay, I was competing when I was young and I was beating Tapia when I was younger, so why don't I just do it? Why don't I just give it, my best effort, get a good partner. Look, I think Chothas might be the best partner who he could choose. Like, seriously, that is if that is a partnership which is gonna last, I would be more than happy, because I think that partnership can really, really be successful. We already spoke about Garrido and why we don't really think Garrido is working out for anyone, but I think it is really good to see that now, you know, Tolito or whatever. We don't really know why that has happened, but now it has happened, and now I don't know if it's gonna last. I don't know if it's gonna be, up until the end of the year or whatever. But if Chotas and Tolito would be playing together long time, or like long term, I think that could really work out.
Yes, I love this pair, honestly. And yeah, this was the last tournament actually when Teo Di Nanno played together, and yeah, because now, and Cardinal Augsburger, because they're switching up now. From the 27th, it's Tarragona P1 is happening, and there we're gonna go through the entry list because it's interesting to. We're gonna do a little bit of prediction that which pair is gonna succeed or not. And yeah, Teo and Di Nanno, I mean, they went to the semi-final. No, it was the quarterfinals for them. So yeah. So they won 2 matches, and after that, yeah, I wanted to talk about this match, Coello and Tapia against Teo and Di Nanno, because basically Teo and Di Nanno were giving like their 200% of their game, and Coello and Tapia were like, let's play a volley, let's play a rulo, let's bring Di Nanno from the right side of the court to the left side of the court. Okay, now play a portress. And they were like joking with them. And it was like crazy to see that at the second set they had the chance, Teo and Di Nanno, to actually come back. But when Coello and Tapia needed to win a point, they won the point. And it's crazy to see that if they are playing like this pair, like Coello and Tapia play against Teo Di Nanno like 20 matches, I think Teo and Di Nanno cannot win a single match because like Coello and Tapia has the answer to everything against them.
But you know what's funny? I mean, we have to talk about this split, because that was a landslide, and obviously it,
Yeah.
that big of a thing to come up with the idea on why Augsburger actually chose Di Nanno is because of the rankings, because now they're going to be in the top possibly 4 or 5, so they are going to be really close to the top 4. So I think
they're going to be seventh seeded.
Okay, 7th seed. So but they're not too far away from the 6th and the 5th. And look, I think we really loved Carburger, didn't we? But I think it's interesting, because we spoke about it, that Di Nanno almost became the partner of Ale Galan. It was this close of happening, and they just the Super Pubes just stuck together, and that proved to be the wrong decision. But now that we can really talk about it, and we can really see on what has happened with these guys, I think it will be an interesting decision from Augsburger, or I don't know who chose that. Maybe Di Nanno called Augsburger, and Di Nanno is such a legend that Augsburger said yes. I don't know how that happened, but it was a really interesting decision. And look, I think Teo Cardona, I'm not sure about that. I really am not. Like, it doesn't really boil my blood. I feel a lot better about Di Nanno and Augsburger, but we had that before as well, to be fair. So it's not the first time we might be proven wrong. But I think like Karlberger was a really exciting pairing, but I think they just couldn't get over the line. They had a few really good results, and now they just somehow disappeared into thin air. They had a few good results. They lost like 7-5, 7-5, that sort of thing, and they had good matches, but they couldn't really beat like a top 3, 4 pair, and because of that, they couldn't really get over the line. And I think,
I mean, they beat on the Coello and Tapia and Chingotto.
yeah. What I
Like
mean is that in the last, yeah,
yeah,
three,
of
four
course,
tournaments. So like, or
of
four or
course, yeah,
five tournaments. So
yeah.
we spoke about it last week as well, or like whatever, 10 days ago, that they lost to Galan fairly. It was a freak match. So yeah. But what I think Dineno and Augsburger can really do some damage. I really feel like, and I think like Dineno was playing with second fiddle players, and now he actually gets a proper big gun. Like if
Yeah.
Burger really wants to, and now it's so funny. Like the way of life that like Dineno was playing with Paco, and Paco was like the big, like he was world number one back at the time almost, or like really close to it, and now Dineno is the oldie. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
it's the circle of life, and now Augsburger, who's a 20-year-old, you know, massive smash. Like we know that he possibly has the best smash on tour. So, but I mean, what we've seen today from Tapia, I doubt that actually Augsburger has the best smash on tour.
I think that Dineno is gonna be a very, very good partner for Augsburger because Dineno is bringing this Chingotto style right side play where he's not doing anything, just putting the ball into the court and putting in the ball into the spaces which are the best option always. So he's not doing any tricky shots, and Augsburger I think needs a bit of more of this to play more consistently what we were talking about in the previous episodes, that Cardona as well is still a little bit messy, so they are both a little bit messy, and now Augsburger is going to get a partner to his side who is really, really not messy, he's only doing the things which he's supposed to do on the right side. But in the meantime, it's going to be a little bit difficult for Augsburger because it's a lot different to play with a lefty and a righty. So now Augsburger has to do much more from the middle balls, from the lobs. So
But I think he actually
more of the
enjoys
core.
that. I think he actually enjoys that.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think I think he
yeah,
will
yeah.
he will thrive, and I think you're absolutely right. I think Cardona took a lot of these middle balls, and I think Augsburger is such an alpha male or alpha dog that like he really wants to do more, and I think that might be.
Yeah.
Dineno is a legend. Obviously, he's an Argentinian legend, and obviously, for an Argentinian kid like Hausberger, it must be an absolute privilege and honor to play with a guy like Dineno. And the other thing is, and we were shocked. We really were. But I think, yeah, yeah, and I'm just thinking while I'm speaking about like Gato Teo and Cardona, and I think Cardona had a bit of I mean, obviously he was playing with Paco, but yeah, it feels like it's gonna be a step back, definitely for him. So I do feel for him. I do feel for him because I think he had a really good season so far.
I think now I'm thinking about this, what you said, that possibly Dineno called Augsburger, and I'm really sure of that, because if you think about it, that Augsburger, I think, didn't really want it to have a change now in the first place, because possibly I think he wanted to stay with Cardona because they love each other and stuff like that, but I think Dineno was feeling that, okay, Teo is good, but I want more. So he took the risk. He called Augsburger possibly, and Augsburger, I mean, it was a hard choice for him. I think, I think he had one or two sleepless nights to decide this, because like I mean, if you have to choose from Cardona and Dineno, two amazing players. But yeah, he took the how would I say this? He took the red pill. He took the little bit more difficult choice to have a new partner, and yeah, that's how it is. Yanguas and Nieto had a great tournament. Like, they beat obviously Cardona and Augsburger. They beat Guerrero and Leal. They beat Guerrero and Leal again, 6-2, 6-4. Pretty easy match. And then 6-1 first set, crazy. And like, they played amazing. Chingotto and Galan, like, I don't even know how they won the match. I was watching the highlights, and so long rallies. Chingalan had to like basically survive every single point, because like Yanguas has amazing blocks from the back as well. What I was watching, that Chingotto is hitting his bandoras to the corner, and Yanguas is like, most of the times he's just trying to block it and then go to the net. He's doing that very well. But at the third set tiebreak, they couldn't manage to win the first few points, and Chingalan, yeah, they survived in a crazy match. It was like, I think, almost 3 hours long.
I think Yanguas and Nieto, they really proved us wrong. Like, we sort of, obviously that was sort of a quick reaction, or like an overstatement, that Guerrero and Leal just became the fourth best pair, because it's not true. Now we know, and Yanguas and Nieto, they are actually the fourth most consistent pair this year. So it's obviously it's Chingalan and Coello-Tapia, Tapiello, and we have Stupa and LeBron, and now we have to talk about Stupa's new interim pair as well. But because he was lights out. He's a good.
He reminded me of Lima a little bit, because of his left hand. He was not doing any big smashes. I think, like, I watched him doing one smash, and it was not very good. And but he was defending amazingly. He were like I mean, he was playing with three legends, playing with three almost best players now in the world. So I don't know like how Stupa got him where, but like he played very good. He like 7-6, 6-4, amazing match.
Yeah, no, it definitely was, and I think Stupa just enjoyed, I think, his time on the court, and obviously he was the alpha dog in that pair, and it's a little bit different for him now than with LeBron, and Stupa is a great pair. You know that he is, like, he's an amazing partner, because he tolerates everything, so he doesn't care. He doesn't really. I mean, you can feel that, like what we already spoke about as well, like in previous episodes, that you can feel Stupa tensioning up a little bit when there's an interesting position, and when LeBron is just doing his usuals. But but I think this tournament has been pretty by the book. So there wasn't a lot of upsets, or there wasn't a lot of wow, how did this happen? And that's down to the fact that the court was fairly slow. It wasn't too slow, but it was fairly slow. But I think it was an interesting. I mean, I want to talk about the final desperately, but before we do, like, it was a fairly straightforward semi for Tapiello.
Coello and Tapia. Yeah, Tapiello.
And it wasn't a straightforward semi for Chingalan, but now we've seen this final how many times, 20 plus now, or something crazy. So we can pretty much know what's going to happen if it's a tournament which needs to be won by the world number one pairing. And I mean, what did you think of the final? I have my thoughts, but I just wanted to ask on how you liked it.
I mean, in the first sets, Coello and Tapia got one break, I think, at 4-4. No, or
Yes, yeah, correct.
yes, they got it on 4-4, and then Coello served it out 6-4, and in the second set they did it as well. So it was a pretty straightforward match. It wasn't too long, and I mean it's like the previous three tournaments, the same textbook. I mean, yeah, you cannot really say much more about it. Coello and Tapia is consistent. They just know what to play against Galan, and it's pretty hard for Galan to come up with a tactic every single time. Like, what? Like, imagine to be Galan's coach. Like, what do you say to them? To
You know what?
just
They had
say
a
to them,
different.
play.
They had a little bit different tactics this time because Galan wasn't really smashing that many, and you know who was smashing a lot? Chingotto.
Yeah, yes, you wrote me that Chingotto. Yeah.
Lights out. Like he was smashing crazy well. Like, you know, they sort of, after a while, they didn't really give him smashes because he was just burying them. I think like we didn't check the stats because it's still too fresh, but Chingotto hit like 10 winners from smashes, and that's unlike him. And you know what? He was definitely playing not his usual game because he was trying to really win the points rather than make Coello and Tapia lose it. So it was a different tactics from Chingalan this time, but it still didn't work. But what I can say is that in the second set, they had their opportunities. They had breakpoints in two different service games. I think one was Coello's, one was Tapia's. So it wasn't just, Tapia's serve, because that's usually a little bit more shaky when Tapia is serving. But it was one on each of those guys' serves. And they just came in clutch. Like, when there was this game at like 3-0 or something, or it was 4-3, I think, to Chingalan, when I think Coello was serving, funnily enough, by the way, because it was a bit different. But yeah, and then at 5-0 they broke again, 6-5, 7-5, easy as that. So and they just closed it out with a love game. So it is. It is the same story. It is Coello Tapia. Tapia was playing really well this time. I mean, he was chosen MVP, and I think whenever he's not like missing 20 shots in a row, then he's gonna be MVP no matter what.
Yeah, and he's winning the match.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why, because this tournament was a little bit boring. I come up with a special true or false game. I wrote 10 like sentences which we should talk about that if it's true or false. But before that, we're gonna go and look at Tarragona P1, because in 1 week there's gonna be the next P1. And we're gonna go through the seeds now, and obviously Coello and Tapia is the first seed. Chingalan is playing, and Stupa and Lebron is back. Hopefully Lebron is playing and he's not gonna cancel it at the last minute. The fourth seed is Yanguas and Nieto, then Momo and Sanz, and then sixth is Bergamini and Paquito, and then the seventh seeded is Dinenno and Augsburger. So it's great to see. Then comes Alonso and Bautista, and Cardona and Teo just didn't make it to the best 8 seed, so they're the 9th best in the entry list. Then Guerrero and Leal, then Garrido and Sagno, and basically these are the most interesting pairs. At the 15th place, it's Chosas and Tolito. So and actually Deus and Deus is at the 19th place, so they're coming closer to the seeding, and it's amazing to see that. What do you think about this entry list?
I'm really happy that LeBron is back. Stupa and LeBron, hopefully that will actually happen, and they're going to play. I think, if I have to bet my house, I would say Coello and Tapia will win this tournament again.
Really? Really?
I just feel like that's gonna happen. I don't know. I just
But how? But how?
have a hunch. I just feel it. But jokes aside, I think this could be an interesting tournament because I think it's outdoors in Tarragona. If I'm not mistaken, I think it is. It is.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it now. I'm gonna check it now.
And I think I'm really happy that as we spoke about it, Chozas and Tolito will be playing together. It will be the first tournament for Dineno and Augsburger together, so that will be a great tournament, I think, to watch and how they're gonna do. It is risky, obviously, taking a different partner, but these guys know how to play together, so that won't be an issue.
It's indoor.
Is it okay? Okay.
Yeah. So basically, and again, it's gonna be 48 players in the main draw. So the first 16 couples is not playing. Yeah, the first round. So yeah, it's indoor again. I don't know how fast the court is. I didn't actually even know Tarragona exists before we spoke about that.
I don't even know where that
tournament
is.
Yeah, I don't even know where there is. But yeah, that's about Tarragona. So it's gonna be an interesting tournament. And yeah, you said Tapiello. I'm hoping Galan and Chingotto is gonna beat them because my favorite pair is Coello and Tapia, but I just want to see some surprises. And I think if Chingalan wins, it's just better for us because next time Coello and Tapia is gonna bring more and more better play. But now let's get into the most interesting part of this episode: true or false. So the first statement is Coello's two best shots, which brings the less mistakes, is first blocking the ball at the net, and the second one is the rulo. Is it true or false?
I would say false. I like
And what do you?
this part. I like the first part that he's great at blocking the ball, but I don't really see his rulos as a thing. Like he can hit a rulo, but I don't really think of Coello with the rulos. I would never like the when paddle players are talking about the rulo, it's always stupa. It's always stupa, and obviously Galan has a great rulo and Tapia has a great rulo, but look, Coello has a good rulo, but I would never choose Coello. Like if I have to think about it, it would be a Portress, but I wouldn't say that it's or a massive smash. And blocking the ball, yes, I get that, and I like it because his blocks are absolutely amazing. But I wouldn't say that it's the rulo, which is his best shot.
Yeah. I mean, I think basically.
So there isn't like an
saying
answer.
because
So
I
now
think-
we're just talking about it. Okay, I get it. I thought
No, I mean No. This is like we have a statement, and we're gonna discuss if it's true, what we think about it. So it's true or false, what we think. So I wrote things which I think it's not true, but yeah, we're just gonna go to the next one now. Galan has improved more this year than Tapia.
I don't think either of those guys improved. To be absolutely fair, I think they were as good last year.
No. What I mean by that is not basically improving, but like how last year Galan played, like for example mentally, and like for example Tapia last year Tapia and Coello had at the first half of 2025 they had little bit of bad results. Last year they didn't have this, so that's why I asked, what do you think? That's because I personally think that Galan has improved. So I think this is true because like they have chance now, because if we see a match Chingalan against Coello and Tapia, we're saying okay, it's like Galan and Chingotto has a chance, but last year we were like, no, this is always Coello and Tapia. Of course now as well, but I think now Chingalan is a little bit closer.
Interesting. I sort of feel that like last year Galan had a purple patch where he was playing literally like a god on a pedal court for like 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
At the first half of the season.
Yeah. And then they figured him out. And I think that's when he became really angry by the end of the year, and even some people were pondering that, okay, will he actually leave Chingotto? Is this the end of Chingotto?
Yeah.
And it never happened. And look, I think it really is a coin flip in a way, but I would say it's 55-45 to Coello and Tapia all the time. I think out of 10 matches, they would win 6 or 7.
I would say 70-40%, 70-30%. I would say
Yeah,
currently.
maybe at the moment. And I think it's just the matchup. It's always the matchup. And I think you mentioned just in the beginning of the pod that, like, Dineno and Teo would never beat Coello and Tapia. And I think in a way, no one can beat Coello-Tapia at the moment anyway. So,
Yeah.
20 matches, like, there
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think they're just like, they just figured this game out. Like, when we are talking about how good these guys are, they are apps. Like, I feel in many ways that they still have a couple of levels which they can go up,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
even against Chingalan, when it almost feels like, okay, so we need to win this tournament. I said that in the last episode as well. When they want to win it, they just win it, and that's what you felt against Gatto and Dineno as well. That, like, okay, we're just toying with you guys because we just have you figured out. Like, we know
Yeah.
that when we have to win a game, we'll win a game. When we have to win a set, we'll win a set. So I think it is a bit like when we can talk about Federer or Nadal or Djokovic when they had their best year, and now we can even say Sinner, like, they're just like, even Sinner, to this date where we are now, Sinner had one of the most dominant tennis displays this year, and I know about the doping scandal, whatever, but it's still, it's absolutely amazing to see how good Sinner is, and that is the same feeling for me about Coello and Tapia. They can, like, yeah, okay, in Bordeaux they almost lost. Obviously, Momo and John Sons had match points, but that's a P2 in Bordeaux. They don't really care. In the end, they won it because they were like, okay, so now we have Chingalan in the final, so might as well win it. But if they would have lost that match, I know they were really, really happy that they won that match, and we spoke about it, that they were celebrating like they won the World Cup. But I feel like you know, Coello and Tapia are literally unbeatable at the moment. That is my gut feeling.
Yeah. Next one is that Chingotto is the best right-handed, right-sided player right now, but if Dineno would have partnered up with Galan in 2024, Dineno would be the best right-handed, right-sided player currently.
Okay, so I will say that I think LeBron is still better, but I think this statement is true, so I like it. I think I would say this because I think Dineno could do the same. Look, we don't know. We don't have a crystal globe. We don't have anything, like, we cannot really say that, like, that might be 100% true, because Chingotto, like, Galan became almost family in the Chingotto family. So they just have this special bond, and they work really well with each other. But I think Galan makes people better. That is a fact. And I think if Galan would,
Except LeBron.
well, I don't know. I think Galan made LeBron better. I think LeBron is not at the level where he was with Galan, obviously. But I think, you know, so I like this statement. I really do, and I think it's true. That is the bottom line.
I also think that is true, yeah. Augsburger has the best smash in the game today.
We just spoke about it.
I think it's true.
If it's purely just the smash, nothing else, then it might be true. And I'm just saying might be because I think there's 4 guys who have the same amazing smash. I would say
Tapia, Galan, and obviously Augsburger and Stupa. No.
no. Coello.
Coello, yeah, Coello.
So
Yeah,
Stupa smashes.
because I was thinking about the left-sided players, yeah. Coello, obviously, yeah.
So I think if we just say this and it's just the smash and nothing else, yes. But I think these 4 guys who we just mentioned, I think these 4 guys are sort of the same in terms of like how well they can smash. So I think it is a bit of an overstatement that we think that it's just the smash, because it's not. I don't know. I think it's just a statement which a lot of people like to talk about. But I think it is
Yeah.
these 4 guys that it's just really hard to choose between those 4.
Yeah. Yanguas and Nieto. I'm gonna say it like this. So Yanguas and Nieto can beat Coello-Tapia and Galan in the same tournament this year.
No, not true. They won't. I cannot see a scenario where they beat both of them.
Yeah, because
it's not gonna happen.
because if you think about it, they possibly will beat one in the semis, and then like in a 3-hour match, for example, if they would have been in this match, and the next day they have to play against Coello and Tapia, they are cooked completely.
Not a chance. I would love to see something like that, because I think they deserve at least a P2 together. And New Giza is coming up soon, and I don't think a lot of these guys will travel. Although we spoke about it, that I think they have a contractual need to do that, because they just didn't go to a lot of tournaments in the beginning of the year. So I think it will be interesting, but I would love them to win a tournament. But look, I wouldn't be surprised if all of the remaining tournaments will be won by Coello and Tapia. I really wouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And I think Tapia just turned up the notch, and now he played even better this tournament than lately.
If you could pick one pair, and not bringing their Chingotto, Galan, and Stupa and LeBron, who will win a tournament this year? This is not inside the true or false game, but now it's just an interesting question. That, yeah, if you pick those 3 pairs, who can win a tournament this year?
You mean out of those? So not those.
Yeah. I think Yanguas and Nieto.
If anyone, then they can. But I would also say possibly Paco and Bergamini.
Yeah, and that's the next one. Actually, that's the next statement, that Paquito and Bergamini will win a title together this year.
I hope so. Obviously, it's not a true or false, and it's not a statement which we can we can come back in a few weeks, and hopefully it will happen. But I think Paco and Bergamini, if anyone, then they're capable of it. But they need a favorable draw, and they need a few results to go their way. So I think they need a John Sans Momotu or someone of that caliber to beat a Coello-Tapia, and they need someone to take out Chingalan, and then they can definitely win it. They can beat the rest.
Yeah.
Like even Stupa LeBron, they can beat. I feel like they can beat Yanguas and Nieto. They can beat these guys.
Yeah. I personally think.
I hope they will.
Yeah, I think the same. Augsburger and Dineno will reach the semis in the first tournament together, so in the next tournament.
No, they won't. I would love to see that, but I think it's just too fresh. It's not going to happen that easily and that quickly. I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, they basically have to beat possibly Yanguas and Nieto or Paquito and Bergamini, or yeah, because these are the four. Like they have to beat, or no, I'm sorry, like they have to beat Stupa Lebron or Yanguas and Nieto, because they're the seventh seeding. So yeah, I think the same. It's a little bit too fresh to say this, but I mean, like I would love that, because yeah, I just love this pair. I would love to see them succeed and stay together for a long time, because I just love both players. Augsburger for his game style, and Dineno for his amazing, humble personality. So I would love it. Yeah, Tolito and Chosas, if they stay together, will reach the Masters final at the end of the year.
Okay, so Chotas won't be reaching the final. That's almost a fact, unless they win something like, one or two tournaments.
Yeah, they need to stay together, and basically, if they are staying together, that means they are bringing good results. But yeah, I think it's false because of Chosas, because he's a little bit
But
further down
Tolito
the
can.
ranking.
Tolito can,
Tolito can, yeah.
and I hope he will, because that would be good for the game. Look, it's kind of funny because people are not really talking about it like Tolito that much, since he's with Premier Paddle, weirdly. So it's not like, he's just having fun in A1 Paddle. It is sort of like, okay, so
Yeah.
the grind now, mate. So it's like the future tournaments in tennis. Like, you really
Yeah.
grind your way through it. So
Yeah.
but I would love Torito in the finals, and I hope he can get in with like someone like, I don't know, who has a chance. But if he would get in, that would be good for the game.
Yeah. Tayo and Cardona will not reach a semi-final together until they are together. Yeah, it's true, I think, as well, because I would love it, because Tayo is like, I love Tayo. He's a very good personality, but something is not working for him, and I think it's still consistency. And if we are just like purely talking about the realistic facts, yeah, I don't think they can reach a semi-final together, and it's not because of Cardona, honestly. Yeah, the last one is that Galan. Yeah, so yeah, it's a funny one. Galan and Cardona, if they would partner up, I don't know why I wrote this, but Galan and Cardona could beat. Yeah, so Galan and Cardona could beat Coello and Tapia outdoor consistently, but indoor never.
Consistently, never. I know what this is about, where this is coming from, but I okay. So I think Galan and Cardona would actually be a really interesting partnership, and I think Galan needs to think about going with a big smasher as well. I think if he would find his own Coello, like Tapia found Coello, then I think it would be really beneficial for his game. He's still young, Galan is still like, he's a robot. He's a great player, but I think it is a really interesting concept, and even a thought process to say that, okay, so Galan Cardona, I kind of like it. But I think Cardona is not there. He definitely needs a year to get better. But so this statement is false. Not even outdoors. Not even if they hit every smash. Not if they're playing with a ball called Tretorn, which we all know is flying out of the moon. So I think, like, it's not like Coello and Tapia cannot smash. They're, as we just mentioned, they're two of the best smashers in the game. So that is just not happening. Full stop.
Yeah, I think that Galan and Cardona, if Galan and Chingotto cannot work out anymore, and if they split, I think Galan's first option, I think, is Cardona, because he knows that he's gonna improve a lot in the upcoming years. So I think, yeah, Galan will call Cardona in the first place. Yeah, so wrap it up. It was a great week in Malaga, but not a bit boring, yeah. But it's always great to see Premier Padel. And yeah, next week Tarragona, and after that it's Madrid. And after that, the Paris Major is coming up, which is gonna be amazing, and the Philippe Chatrier and Roland Garros. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode, and yeah, we are moving every single rock to bring you guys these recap episodes.
As I said to you guys as well, it has been quite the grind. But look, I also wanted to mention that thank you very much for the 1,500 followers on Instagram. That is massive, so I'm really happy for that, and thank you very much, and keep them coming. And that's purely down to that guy whose connection is a little bit shady. So everyone has to thank Tomi for that, and first of all me. And yeah, we'll be back with Tarragona. I do have an episode which is coming out as well, which will be pretty interesting, with my old workplace, and Tomi knows about it, so he will be we will be editing it, so that will be coming out in a few days, or maybe this next week or something like that. We'll see. And also, yeah, just wanted to say to please, you know, follow us on YouTube, spread the word, and stay tuned, because a lot more content is coming, and hopefully I will be a little bit better rested than lately, so I can think of new ways of bringing you quality pedal content, really.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.